This is RBR short from 13, aka Ryan, and today I am doing a video basically celebrating 10 years of Splinter Cell Conviction. Um, this is a old pre-owned disc I have of it um, from GameStop from a long time ago. Splinter Cell Conviction, I own it on the Xbox One now, digitally, and I got it on the 360 digitally later on, but I originally owned the disc. Um, and it's probably my favorite Splinter Cell after Chaos Theory. Chaos Theory is my favorite, but Conviction would be my second favorite because personally, that's like my favorite. That's one of my favorite video games on the Xbox 360 for sure, and it's some of the most fun um, video gaming I've ever experienced. Um, it's like my favorite co-op. The co-op mode in Conviction. I remember um, growing up playing the co-op mode, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool." Um, and I like the characters in the game, and I like the story mode, and I love the gameplay. The gameplay made me want to come back to the game and play it again and again, and I would play it. I would play it again and again because I really enjoyed the game. So either with Splinter Cell, I'd be playing Chaos Theory or Conviction for the most part. Now I am a fan of all the other Splinter Cell entries, but uh, Conviction, yeah, would probably have to be my second favorite Splinter Cell. Um, and I think the reason why is because it's Sam Fisher's story rather than a Splinter Cell story. Because I mean, you do get that in the co-op mode. It feels more like a Splinter Cell game. You know, when you play Arch or Orchestral, um, it's Splinter Cell just a little more action oriented. Um, but the story mode, you know, it's still it managed. This game still managed. What wows me is it managed to keep a lot of Splinter Cell elements, yet do completely new things with the storyline, the characters, and the settings, in ways you didn't think were possible. The story got bigger when you get to Conviction. Because I mean, the earlier entries, a lot happens in those games, and Double Agent. You know, like there's always stuff happening in every Splinter Cell game. It's never ever boring. There's always stuff going on, and if there were to be the Splinter Cell game where there was the least amount of going on, was the first one. The first one actually has the least amount of action out of all of them, I think. In terms of that, yeah, because the first one is just so simple. If you really think about it, the first one is definitely simple compared to the sequels. Because the sequels, you know, starting with Pandora Tomorrow, you know, the characters get more developed. The world just feels bigger. The music scores get bigger. You know, the graphics, the environments, the action that happens, you know, and just the overall story and its structure. The sequels definitely up the ante personally. So I think I'm one of those Splinter Cell fans that enjoys the sequels more so than the original game, even though that I love the original for its music. I love the music in that game for its maps and for its simplicity that it has. The fact that the game is so simple, you know, it feels like an independent game, yet it's, you know, a big game. So it's really cool. Um, so it has that vibe where it's like independent stealth game, but with like very professional, like, you know, animators and stuff. So it's really cool. But I got into the series more after the first game because the characters got more developed, the storylines got more developed, and Sam's story got more developed, and that starts with Double Agent, but it's even more expanded in Conviction. And the fact that there was originally a game before this game, um, but because people didn't like the original Splinter Cell Conviction. You know, Sam with really long hair and a beard and wearing like a jacket and kind of like this like Watch Dogs kind of look, you know, kind of thing. That didn't go well with people, so the game was remade, and that's what we have now: the Mark and Execute and Sam Fisher with the green shirt, you know, and um, you know how the game is, you know, designed now. Um, some things were kept, but a lot was changed, and the game kept getting delayed till 2010, till April 2010. So I remember Conviction was supposed to come out in November of 2007, but Assassin's Creed was going to come out November of 2007. So Ubisoft changed the release date to summer of 2008, I think. And you know, because of the negative responses of Conviction, they started all over again. And maybe because they felt like it was too Assassin's Creed, um, but they started over again. And in a way, I'm glad they did because I really like, well, not like, I love what they did with Splinter Cell Conviction. But I would love to play the original version of Conviction, you know, before they changed it. You know, like when Sam was, you know, he would have to blend in with people and with, you know, with stealth and all that. Um, you know, and like he was able to pick up like chairs and a bunch of objects and take enemies' guns and like all this kind of stuff, and it seemed very like interactive, you know, which is a lot like how the original games were with the lock picking and hacking and all this kind of stuff that were in the old games. You could pick up objects around you, bottles, cans, um, etc. You know, and that was cool. You could collect scatchels from enemies. I mean, this is cool stuff. And they removed that with Splinter Cell Conviction, and Blacklist and all that. Where I don't know now Splinter Cell, even though like Blacklist has gone back to its original, you know, style of the older games, and it's managed to capture the Splinter Cell Conviction, you know, Mark and Execute fun and all that kind of stuff. But uh, I definitely think the next Splinter Cell, they can definitely make more old school. Um, bring back the lock picking, bring back the hacking, picking up like cans or bottles, little objects you can throw around. You know, you don't doesn't mean it has to be like Assassin's Creed. You know, it's going back to how Splinter Cell more was like. You know, when it came out. I think what was so great about Conviction was that it felt like it felt like that Splinter Cell game where they were only going to do that once, you know, where Conviction was the Splinter Cell game that was going to go into Sam's story a certain way, Splinter Cell's story a certain way. I mean, just the series in general was going to be done a little differently for one game out of all the other games, just to kind of do something new. And that was what was cool about Conviction. It was new, but it was exciting, and it still felt like Splinter Cell. So even though it was completely different, Sam was no longer a Splinter Cell. You know, he was on the run, and you know, just the storyline in general, like how so much was changed. It still, you know, managed to have the Splinter Cell um, uh, atmosphere. But I'm really excited to see where the series goes. You know, it was really fun to play that Ghost Recon Wildlands DLC of Splinter Cell, and then Ghost Recon Breakpoint DLC of Splinter Cell. But I really want Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell to get its own video game. You know, its own sequel, new title, and you know, it's long overdue. You know, Splinter Cell um, Blacklist came out in 2013, and I was 17 when Blacklist came out. I'm 24 now, so I just feel like it's about time, you know, that we get a new Splinter Cell. And Splinter Cell isn't really open world game. It's a linear game, so I feel like it wouldn't take as long as an open world game would be. you know, and yet we get these open world games, you know, in very short amount of time compared to back in the day, you know, where open world games weren't as popular as they are now, or also as where the games could be made as fast. So um, I really hope that we can get a new Splinter Cell, and you know, sooner than later. And it's great that us Splinter Cell fans can celebrate 10 years of Splinter Cell Conviction, 15 years, and 15 years of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory came out in March of 2005. I was 10. Um, I didn't really get into the Splinter Cell series until I was 14. So it wasn't until I got older, but I knew the series existed. The first one and Pandora Tomorrow, I didn't really play them, but I saw other people play missions and stuff, but I really didn't really know the series. So it was cool when I binge played it, the first four games, and then got into the other ones after. But it'd be great to get a new Splinter Cell game. Be cool for us fans to be able to experience a new entry with Michael Ironside's voice and new maps. You know, a lot of DLC. I think that'd be my biggest request is that they give us a lot of DLC with the next Splinter Cell, and that we get more maps, more stealth missions, and more old features, you know, like from the old games. You know, number one, lock picking, you know, seriously, and then two, the code hacking, um, and then three, being able to pick up objects such as cans or bottles to distract enemies. I don't think that would affect the game by any means. I think that would enhance the game. So I really hope that Ubisoft's smart about this, and they give it, and that they give us a great game. That's all I'm hoping for. So happy 10 years of Splinter Cell Conviction, happy 15 years of Chaos Theory, and just celebrating Splinter Cell in general. In 2 years, it'll be 20 years since the first Splinter Cell game came out. Can you believe that? In 2002, the first Splinter Cell came out. So in 2 years, it'll be 20 years. So I'm really looking forward to celebrating 20 years of Splinter Cell. And yeah, it's a big deal if you're a Splinter Cell fan, and it's definitely one of my favorite video game franchises. And if you guys love Splinter Cell Conviction as much as I do, post a comment and tell me why you enjoy the game, and are you guys celebrating Splinter Cell? And yeah, so that's my video, guys. I hope you enjoy. Stay safe out there, and I will talk to you all very soon. All right, peace.